Hello and welcome. I'm Eileen Lannon-Olford, CEO of Business Cape Breton. Thank you for viewing our video business series covering the topics marketing, legal issues in business, human resources, business growth, and business in the community. Cape Breton business people and professionals are featured in these videos, and they wish to share their experience and knowledge to help you start your business and grow your business in our region. We hope that you will find this business series helpful. And at Business Cape Breton, we'd be pleased to assist you in your business plan preparation, marketing plans, and training. Thank you for your time and interest in Business Basics, brought to you by Business Cape Breton.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Tracey Boutilier.
And I'm Mary Southwell.
And we are local business owners. I own a company called Vibe Creative Group that operates here in Sydney. We are a full-service marketing agency.
And I own Internet Search Media CB, and it's an internet marketing company based in Glace Bay.
Today we're going to talk to you about marketing your business and some effective ways of doing just that. We're going to start off with Branding 101. Really, your business message starts with your brand and a strong brand. Ask yourself some questions like, what makes me the best in the industry? What can I offer my clients that perhaps my competitors can't? That is known as your unique selling proposition. Once you determine what your strengths are, then you create a strong, effective, and creative brand that really gives your consumer, your client, a really good idea of what you do. As soon as they see that brand, they have a feeling about you. Brands are visual communications, and as soon as they see it, they say, wow, that's a company I want to deal with. So creating the brand is step one. Using it consistently would be your next step. And it's so important to be consistent in the use of your brand. You want your brand to be seen the same every time it's in print, on TV, through social media. It has to look the same. And by doing that, it really helps to build your brand equity. So that leads to credibility in business as well. So Mary, once your brand is created and you're effectively communicating it in the marketplace, the second thing would be, what kinds of things am I going to do? How am I going to communicate with my audience? Consider some new ways to market. Traditional newspaper advertising is very strong, especially in rural areas. People still go to the newspaper to get their information, and this can be a very good way to advertise. Radio, television, billboard, decals on cars and buses, these are all great ways to advertise. You may want to jump out of the box a little bit as well, and in order to do that, consider using your search engine. Go online, see what the trends are, see what people are doing that is new and interesting, and look at your budget, of course. Always important to look at your budget and see how much you can dedicate towards effective advertising. If I was to share one tip with you today that helped me greatly, it's to know who your audience is. You have to know who your customer, your client is before you can advertise to them. Take, for example, if you're a business that's catering to teenagers. You're probably not going to place a print ad to communicate with a teenager. You may want to consider social media. That's where teenagers go to get their information. This is a really low-cost way for you as a business owner to get your message out there, to encourage them to come in for a sale, to attend an event. Anything you want to say to a teenager probably will be said best in social media. And Mary, you're going to talk about this a little bit today as well. Mm-hmm. Once you come up with some creative and exciting ways to advertise, implement your plan and then track it. So tracking could be how many phone calls you got in relation to a certain sale, how many people came through the door. Always ask your customers, how did you hear about me? How did you find me? What drew you to the door? Very important, so you can gauge your campaign and you can decide, am I going to do it again or should I tweak it and try something else? Let's talk a little bit about social media, Mary.
Okay. So just again, as Tracey had said, one of the biggest things when you're trying to evaluate how to best approach social media for your business is knowing who your target audience is. So for instance, if you're targeting an audience that's primarily female and it may be something that's very visual, you might want to look into Pinterest. If it's a very young audience that you're targeting, probably between 13 and 17, then maybe be looking at Instagram. And it's important to know that because A lot of people assume it's a build it and they will come scenario, that they can go to any social media platform, put their content there, and their target audience will see it. But different target audiences will gravitate towards different social media platforms. So make sure to educate yourself about that before you delve into anything and put your time and effort into that. Once you have decided which is the most appropriate platform or platforms for you to use, you want to assess how much time you have to commit to this. A lot of people assume that if they try to use every social media platform that applies to them, they'll reach the most people and it will be the most beneficial for them. But the problem with that is it becomes so time consuming and very quickly can become overwhelming for them. And you want to make sure when you first get started, I always suggest one platform or two platforms at the most. That way you get a feel for how much time you really do have to commit to it and what you're getting back from it. And from there, if you do become comfortable with using that one or two social media platforms, then you can expand from there. But it's better to do one thing very, very well than to do a number of things very poorly. So it's always best to start small and work from there. As far as how much money it will cost you to use social media, it is very inexpensive because joining the platforms themselves are free. What you also would like to consider is if you're very lost, if you don't know what to do, you can contract someone to come in and help you get started. And don't feel because you're contracting someone to help you with your social media that you're stuck with that forever. You can express to the consultant that you contract, this is what I want to accomplish, and set that goal that at that point in time you can move on your own. And if you become lost again in the future, you can certainly contact them again to help you. One thing that you might want to discuss with them is paid social media advertising. A lot of different platforms now are offering paid advertisements such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram is now offering paid ads. And you want to assess if that's appropriate for you. A lot of times it is very inexpensive to dabble with it a little bit and see what works best and what doesn't. Especially with Facebook, it's very user-friendly. The Twitter ads for business, they've done a lot of work to that lately. So don't be afraid to jump into that and get familiar with it. And if you do need assistance with it, don't be afraid to contract someone to come in and help you out with that.
Mary, that's great advice. I'm thinking sitting here, as women in business, we often will want to support other women in business and nurture them along the way if we have something to share. Is mentoring important for social media?
It certainly is. I mean, especially if you know of someone who is using social media for their business and you feel they're doing it very well, don't be afraid to approach them and ask them questions about how they got started and if they have any suggestions for you. Most people are more than happy to share that information with you and help you get started. It's also a good idea when you're using social media to form partnerships with different businesses and help each other out. For instance, if you have a complementary business to someone, you can help promote each other through each other's pages and mention to those that are following you, that have liked your page, that are getting your updates, that this business is doing such and such, or they have a certain product that is complementary to those that are following you, and vice versa, they can do the same thing for you. So when you're posting to social media, there is a general rule that you should post 80% of your content that's going to be something that's meaningful and beneficial to those that are following and interacting with you. And the other 20% can be direct sales or something that would be of a direct benefit to you. And in that way, it's usually not too much for them to see as just blatantly advertising all the time, because people come to social media platforms to interact. They don't go there to be sold to. And if you only try to sell to them, you're not going to get the uptake that you're looking for. People are going to stop listening to you. So if you follow the 80-20 rule, usually that works well and will translate to people listening to you and getting those messages as well, because they blend well with the rest of your content.
Mary, if I had a client come in to see me at Vibe and asked, what kind of ratio would you recommend between traditional marketing and social media marketing? What would you say?
It all depends on who their target audience is. For instance, if it's a target audience that isn't usually on social media, if you're beyond the 60-65 range, you get some but not a whole lot, then I would certainly encourage them to do more with other forms of advertising. If it is a younger market, then certainly it's not as high a cost to get into social media. So it's easier for them to dabble with it a little bit, see what their return on investment is, and then assess what ratio they would like to commit to that.
Many of our clients that come to see me at Vibe will say it's very important for them to maintain a competitive edge. So what I say to them is, what are your competition doing? What kinds of products are they offering, services? What is their customer service like? Do you offer something that is better than they do? Value added, shall we say. And so the discussion can become very robust around that topic, and we get quite creative. And so we have to learn from our competition. I think that's a really important place to start when looking at our own services that we offer. But not just stopping there. We need to push the boundaries. We need to really become creative, step out of the box. What are they doing well? Well, we're going to do this even better. Mary, have you had the same experience in a social media platform?
For sure, especially there are different functions within some of the platforms that allow you to more easily look at your competition, and Facebook being one of them. They do have a function there now where you can watch certain pages that are your direct competitors or similar pages, and allow you to see what is working well for them, what has not gone so well for them, so you can avoid those mistakes. And as you said, Tracey, be able to see what they're doing well and do that even better yourself.
I was thinking as we're sitting here chatting, and this may not seem like it makes sense or fits the topic, but as women in business, we are so pressed for time all the time. Mm-hmm. And there are more and more demands on our time, from family to work and back again. So I think it's important for us to try and strive for balance. So how do we do that? Perhaps we take a course. Cape Breton Centre for Craft and Design offers amazing programs that we can take part in the evenings and on weekends. We could take a cooking class. We could take a music lesson. There are all kinds of ways to decompress. Yoga is great. And just being with friends and making time for our friends. And I think as women in business, we have to take that time out for ourselves. What that means at the end of the day is we will have more energy for our work. We'll have more creativity that we can bring to the table and to our clients.
Certainly. And with social media as well, I know a lot of people feel it is very immediate and they want to be there all the time, but take the time for yourself to unplug at some point and really cleanse your digital palette before you get back into it.
So we talked about marketing and getting our message out there. We talked about some social media tricks, and we also talked about keeping a competitive edge. Let's talk a little bit about why our customers keep coming back. Why they should keep coming back. Yeah. What makes us unique, I suppose. Why would customers want to keep doing business with you, for instance?
Yeah, because a lot of people have this misconception that the only way we can compete is on price, and that's just not true. If you're going to compete on price, and that's the only reason people are coming to you, they're going to leave you for the same reason. So you want to make sure that you have a lot more there to offer than just competing on price. And again, it goes back to what you said before, Tracey, when you're figuring out what your brand image is, that's a part of that, is knowing what makes you different. And maybe you have fantastic customer service. Maybe you cater to a specific market that your competitors aren't really focusing on. Or maybe you have a product or service that is different in one specific way. But whatever that is, it's very important to figure that out. And once you know that, that becomes a very powerful tool for you, because you can express that to your potential clients and customers, that this is what makes me different. This is why you should do business with me.
I think networking offers an opportunity for businesses as well to give another reason for customers to keep coming back. And when I say that, working with like-minded and complementary businesses. And as women, we tend to form strong relationships in the industry. We like to help one another. And so if you have a business, for instance, that offers food service, perhaps you partner with a B&B to offer a package deal to your customer. Just ways to make a further impact on them and keep them coming through the door.
Exactly.
I think, Mary, your competitive edge can also come from pushing the boundaries, coming out of your comfort zone, looking for ways to do things differently. And that sometimes can be scary, especially if there's a budget line associated with doing that. But I think, as women in business, it's important for us to always look for new, fresh ways to communicate and also to strengthen our product offering. So we can't become complacent in what we offer and what we do every day. We have to look at what our audience wants, what they need, what they may be going elsewhere to find. And we certainly want them to shop at home and to do their business at home. So we have to stay up to date with the trends, and we have to be willing to push ourselves and push our counterparts to offer more and to be better.
You always want to make sure people are encouraging to you and helping to move you forward. You want to reciprocate that, and you want to be able to support other local businesses, because it's fantastic when other businesses and other women in business are encouraging to us and helping us to overcome our hesitation to push those boundaries. But it's also good for us to be encouraging to them, and it should be a two-way street. You want to make sure that you're there for other people, and if they approach you with an idea, that you are open-minded to that, and if it is complimentary, that you help them, and vice versa. They will likely be there to help you as well.
It is so very important to talk to your customers. They know their business best. I say when I meet a new client that we act like a sponge. We just sit with you and we ask you all kinds of questions, and we find out about your business so that we can come up with the right solutions for you. And sometimes we may think we know everything, and we certainly don't. And that's why our customers and our clients are so very important to the whole creative process. When coming up with a brand, developing a brand, when creating an ad campaign, executing the campaign, measuring it, the client has to be front and center. I can't profess to know everything there is about every business here. I'd be lucky to know one thing about every business here. So it's very important to get at the root of what makes them successful so that we can go away and do our work and create a campaign that best reflects them in the marketplace and that will bring in new business.
Yeah, and it's important to listen to your followers or people that like your page, people that are getting your content on social media as well, because you'll see what they're interacting with, what they're sharing, what they're commenting on, and what they're ignoring, and you need to be very mindful of that. If they want a certain type of content, then it's in your best interest to look into providing them that type of content. And you won't know that unless you experiment with it and you put different types of content out there and listen to it. You see what's coming back from them and act accordingly.
So finally today, we're going to talk about return on advertising spend, ROAS, and how important that is for every business that places even one print ad, places a 30-second ad on radio or television. If you're going to invest your hard-earned money on an advertising campaign, you have to know if it was worth it. Pure and simple. So how you do that is you simply do a math equation. If you're having a sale this Saturday, and perhaps you are investing $800 on your campaign, you're going to place 2 print ads, do a small radio buy, some social media ads, and all of that totals up to $800. So on a typical Saturday, you would probably realize $350 in profit, let's say. This Saturday in question, when we're doing our sale, you experience $1,800 in gross profit. That's a great increase. That's a wonderful increase. So what you do then is you do a division. Your ad campaign spend divided by your profit, and you will get your return on advertising spend. So in this case, it turned out to be 1.8%, which is a really good return on investment. And probably you would want to do that again if you were doing a sale. Perhaps your return on advertising spend wasn't that impressive. And if that's the case, you would probably want to change your techniques. Maybe you don't go so heavily into print. Maybe you do more social media. Maybe you do posters. Maybe you increase your radio buy. Perhaps you place an ad on an electronic screen in a large venue, somewhere where your audience is going to be prior to the sale. Again, it's so important to know who your audience is, what they do with their spare time, so you can target those places, and what messages they want. So research becomes very important in determining your campaign. So I think the key is you make your plan for your campaign, you execute your campaign. It could be a really extensive ad campaign, or it could be one or two things. Then you measure every time. Plan, execute, measure. Plan, execute, measure. And as long as you're going to be advertising, you need to do that. And there are lots of ways you can track. From putting a call to action in a print ad, where someone who follows up with that call to action, you can directly trace that that's where it came from, or simply by asking your customers as they walk through the door, how they found out about you, how they heard about the sale. You could offer a coupon in a magazine, for instance, that they would have to physically take out and take into you. So that's another great way to track if it was worth it. And at the end of the day, you want your profits to exceed what you're spending on ads.
Okay, so we hope this information was beneficial and helps you moving forward with your marketing efforts. Again, I'm Mary Southwell.
And I'm Tracey Boutilier.
And thanks for watching.